To begin with, we should address the floater here. C, believing these people is something of a floater because we are not sure where these people connects. It could connect with very rich people here in D, or it could connect with another group, the unwitting enablers in A. Of course, by meaning that would not be too difficult. We can see that there are two pairs forming. First off, we get statement B, which says democracy and high levels of inequality, inequality being a keyword, of the kind that have come to characterize the United States are simply incompatible. We have the aspect of high levels of inequality. High levels of inequality almost directly connects with statement D, because D mentions very rich people. So let's look at D next. D says, very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. Hence, we get the aspect of democracy and high levels of inequality being incompatible. Why? Because democracy gives power to the people, to all the people. So there should not be an aspect of inequality or differentiation or difference in perception because of towards people, or opinion of the people, or way the people stand in front of the government or the political power or even law. That should not be the case in democracy, but very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. So very rich people using their money is basically something which goes against the idea of democracy. And so very rich people, which very well connects with high level of inequality, while inequality is a general word, very rich people using money, that here connects with the concept of inequality. So the inequality that we are talking about here is basically income disparity, people with money and people without, rich people versus not so rich people. So we find there's a pair in DB. We can put that into our sequence. We also find that there is a pair in A and D. We have done this wrong. It should be BD. B comes first, and then comes the aspect of very rich people in D. So BD is a pair. Next up, we have a pair in A and C. A introduces a new group, but now we have another group, the unwitting enablers. Keyword being unwitting enablers. We have to see that the connotation has changed, and that is how we will connect this with C, because we have a neutral connotation here. Let's look at D one more time. Very rich people always use money to maintain their political and economic power. So using money to maintain power, uh, basically a kind of a cheat, uh, that is something that we have a very negative connotation on. Here we have a neutral connotation, a positive to neutral connotation. After all, we have enablers. These are unwitting people who don't necessarily want to be enablers, but they are enablers nonetheless. So enablers, people who enable something, who facilitate something, maybe even, that's a somewhat positive connotation. Not extremely, not entirely, but a somewhat positive connotation. And that has changed from D. C has a similar connotation, similar positive connotation. Believing these people are working for a better world, they are actually at most chipping away at the margins, making slight course corrections, ensuring that the system goes on as it is uninterrupted. So basically, these people believe that they are working for a better world, they are doing good work, they are making positive change. They are actually not making much of a change, at most chipping away at the margins. So making very, on the surface changes, making slight course corrections, ensuring the system goes on as it is uninterrupted, basically maintaining the status quo. But that said, these are people who believe that they are working for a better world. we see that very rich people are definitely in this sense the evil group, because they are using money and they are willingly using money to maintain their political and economic power. Here, these enablers are unwitting, but they are enablers. It's not necessary that they don't want to do good. They might want to do good. They're trying to do good. They believe that they are doing good, but they're doing very little actually. So we have a positive connotation in A and C. And then we have a negative connotation in statement D. We find that when statement B introduces the aspect of inequality, A and C, D connects to that, A and C then change the argument. So we find there's another pair in AC. We can place them here. And after we have done this, we only need to sequence them. That's not too much of a problem. You can clear all of this out. We don't need this work. Finally, we realize that A, starting with but now, we have another group, and but now. This is definitely something that follows the previous argument, which is more generalized. So we'll have AC after BD. Let's place that in here. The pair AC follows BD, and thus we have our sequence. Our answer is BDAC.